Ever wish you could walk around inside of your favorite TV and movie homes? Well, on this channel, you can. Today, we're going to explore every nook and cranny of the Cunningham home from Happy Days. We'll even go upstairs and hang out at Arnold's. Hi, I'm Marina Coates. I have a degree in architecture and an obsession with set design. Welcome to Behind the Scenes, where we get up close and personal with all your favorite TV and movie homes. Today we'll be exploring the Cunningham home from Happy Days, but with ceilings and all four walls like you've never seen it before. We'll begin with an overhead view to help us get our bearings. By the way, this is the first version of their home. I'll be making another tour of their home from later seasons, but in the early seasons, their living room was here, with the front door on this side. The stairs were here. There was a games table in the back here. This is the dining room, and here's the kitchen. The exterior. As is true with every TV home I've ever done, the exterior of the Cunningham's home doesn't match what we see on the interior. The exterior we're shown on TV is of a real home located in Los Angeles, not far from the studio. However, as with almost all TV homes, nothing was ever actually filmed inside of this house. It was used for exterior shots only. But on the show, the Cunningham's address was in Milwaukee at 565 North Clinton Drive. Now let's move on to the living room. Early in this series, the living room looked like this, with the entrance on this side. Later, it would switch to the opposite side, along with some other changes. In a future episode, I'll be making a tour of that version of the home too, along with Fonzie's apartment. Today, you'll get tours of this earlier home as well as Arnold's drive-in. I absolutely love this version of the home. The fireplace takes center stage, flanked by built-in bookcases. And I love the way the stairs turn and enter the room. And I'm slightly obsessed with these lamps sitting on either side of the sofa. On this end of the room, there's a piano and a games table. And on this side, just before you enter the dining room, is a liquor cabinet. One interesting feature are these lusters on the mantel. They're very close to the ones we see in the I Love Lucy apartment. So close that on first glance I was convinced they were the same prop. However, some of the props do come from the Brady Bunch set. I found a post on Very Brady blog that points out props from the Brady Bunch set that were later used on Happy Days. I love when that happens. Scenes that took place in the living room. Richie trying to get some alone time with a girl and being constantly interrupted. Richie watching a scary movie to help overcome his fears, only to be pranked by Joanie. And Christmas at the Cunninghams, with Fonzie reading The Night Before Christmas to the whole family. Let's take a tour now of the living room before we venture on to the kitchen. I have a new line of merchandise out now, including this framed print of the Cunningham home. Each home is available in different sizes and comes as just a print or a framed print. They're available under this video. See if your favorite home is there. More coming soon. Now onto the dining room. One of my favorite scenes takes place here. Fonzie is invited to spend Christmas with the Cunninghams. As they sit down to dinner, Howard asks Fonzie to say grace. Uncharacteristically, Fonzie is intimidated by the request. He clearly doesn't feel up to the task. He pauses, and then in a poignant and very real moment, simply looks up and humbly says, "Hey God, thanks." And it's so heartfelt, so sincere. Everyone around the table can feel it. It's sincere because we know that he is indeed so very thankful to be there, to be part of their family at that Christmas gathering. As you can see from these pictures, the dining room was just off of the living room between the living room and the kitchen. The dining room has a bay window here, 2 corner hutches, and 1 large china cabinet, and a sideboard. This is the 4th wall in the dining room. On TV shows, the 4th wall refers to the wall that we don't get to see where the cameras and the audience were. Since we never saw a bathroom anywhere on the main floor, I chose to put a half bath here. We'll tour the dining room now and then move on to the kitchen. The kitchen. Unlike the living room, the kitchen didn't change much from the early seasons to the later ones. The main difference was this opening between the kitchen and the living room. The kitchen had a long stretch of cabinetry here, with a window over the sink. The door to the outside was here, with a fridge here and a stove next to it. Their kitchen table was in the center. We never really got to see this wall, the 4th wall. However, in this shot, you catch a glimpse of the wall behind the table. Since we never saw this entire corner of the room, I chose to put the laundry room back there. Scenes that took place in the kitchen. Entertaining beauty pageant contestants that Potsie invited over while Richie's parents are out of town. Joanie playing Monopoly on her very first date with Fonzie's nephew, Spike, and a lot of home-cooked meals and family time. Let's take a walk around the kitchen now, and then we'll tour the entire main floor all at once with all of the doors open. Now we'll take a tour of the entire main floor, and then we'll head upstairs. Would you go back in time if you could? Would you relive your own personal coming-of-age story? Re-experience all of those awkward teenage moments? There would be first jobs, first dates, bullies, rejections, disappointments, and all of the accompanying embarrassment. But there would also be an opportunity to relive the good times, the triumphs and excitement of those years. Making the game-winning shot, cruising the boulevard, the big date, lounging with friends at the local hangout spot. No real responsibilities yet. Happy Days gave us that opportunity to go back in time. We could feel what Richie, Potsie, and Ralph were going through because we'd already lived it, or were currently going through it. Happy Days revived these life experiences for us on a weekly basis. And the show warned us of both pitfalls to avoid, as well as the excitement still awaiting us ahead. Happy Days served up those memories, whether already experienced or still in the future, on a safe platter ready for our consumption. The Cunninghams, the Fonz, Arnolds, Richie and the gang, all there to make us feel right at home. Those days belong to all of us. As the opening song says, these happy days are yours and mine. We often saw people coming down the stairs, so I was curious, what would their view be as they were coming down? So before we head upstairs to the bedrooms, let's take a look at what they would see as they descend the steps. I feel like I should be singing "I Found My Thrill" on Blueberry Hill as we do this. If you love exploring these TV and movie homes and would like to unlock more exclusive content about them, now you can with a backstage pass on my Patreon page. Hi, I'm Marina Coates. As you may know, I create TV and movie home tours on my YouTube channel, Mockingbird Lane. But now with my Patreon page, you can get a backstage pass to even more exclusive content, including clips of TV and movie home tours and overhead views before I publish them, all of the room tours without narration, access to the full interviews when I feature a cast member, views of the imagined missing fourth walls, images detailing the set design changes over the course of the series, a private community chat board where you can discuss these homes with like-minded fans, and occasional live Q&As where I answer all of your burning questions about these amazing homes. All of this content is available on my Patreon page for only $5 a month. To join, simply click on the link in the first comment below. Now let's head upstairs to the bedrooms and bathroom. Upstairs at the Cunningham house, we have Mr. and Mrs. C's bedroom here, Richie's room here, a bathroom at this end, and Joanie's room. Since the set design changed so much, I had to choose a season and stick with it. I chose Season 2 for these tours. In Season 2, we see Joanie's room as being directly across from Richie's room here. However, that's also where the parents' room is shown as being. This is very common with TV homes. But obviously for this tour, I couldn't put two bedrooms in one place. And since we see the family enter here when they come up the stairs, that would place the stairs around this corner. For that reason, I put Joanie's room in the only leftover space there is, here. Joanie's room. It seemed like Erin Moran, who played Joanie, grew into her role as the seasons went on. She developed that devilish grin, reveling in mischief and secrets and never wanting to be left out of anything. She was probably just like everyone else's little sister. We get to see quite a bit of Joanie's room in the episode Not With My Sister You Don't in Season 2. As Marion enters Joanie's room, we see her bed here with a cute lamp beside it and other things around the room that the set designers put there to tell us more about her life. An aquarium, a hula hoop, a Mad magazine poster, and stuffed animals. Let's tour Joanie's room now, and then we'll head on over to Howard and Marion's room. Howard and Marion's room. Howard and Marion were such a fun couple. Marion Ross, who played Mrs. Cunningham, said that as the writers got to know her personality and what she could contribute to the show, they started fleshing out the character more. They saw that she was willing to do anything, such as wearing a harem costume and dancing for Howard. Before that, she said, most of her lines were, "Oh, Howard," or "Oh, Richie." We came to know the fun side of Mrs. C, and it worked beautifully. Tom Bosley received an Emmy nomination for his role as Howard Cunningham, and it's easy to see why. The role fit him like a glove, and the interactions between him and Marion were so fun and believable. We got to see a lot of their bedroom, so it was pretty easy to reconstruct. Their bed was here, there was a closet here, and a dresser here. An interesting thing about this dresser, it appears to be the exact same type of dresser as the one on I Love Lucy, just painted green. Perhaps it's the very same one used on the I Love Lucy set. You can often find furniture and props from one show used later on another. Now we'll tour Howard and Marion's bedroom. The Cunninghams had a nice, roomy bathroom upstairs. The sink was here. A separate area here had the toilet and shower. And across from the sink is a large vanity area for Marion. Who wouldn't want a bathroom layout like this? We'll tour the bathroom now and then head on to Richie's room. Richie's room. This room just screams teenage boy from the 50s, and I love it. We already loved Ron Howard as Opie Taylor on the Andy Griffith Show, and this just seemed like Opie had grown up and was now experiencing his teens. With Ron, it never seemed like he was acting. He was a natural from day one. And although his real love was directing, no one can deny his believability as both Opie and Richie. There were 2 beds in Richie's room. He had initially shared it with an older brother, Chuck. But eventually the character of Chuck was written out of the show. And just like that, the Cunninghams became a family of 4. Richie had pictures of sports heroes and favorite teams on his walls around the room. There were 2 windows on this wall, with a desk here, a record player here, and his closet by the door. There was a high boy dresser here and a lower dresser on this wall, the 4th wall. As with so many TV homes, the walls actually splay out at odd angles. I create these homes as they were shown to us on TV, quirky walls and all, so that as we walk around inside of them, they look just how we remember them. We'll walk around Richie's room now before heading over to hang out at Arnold's. Now we'll tour the whole upstairs before heading over to Arnold's. I found a channel on YouTube by Cato called That's Classic, where he does fun, personal, in-depth interviews with many of the actors from these classic TV shows, including Marion Ross, Anson Williams, and Henry Winkler. He manages to get some really interesting stories out of them. I'll put a link in the description below for his channel so you can check these out. Now let's go hang out with the gang at Arnold's. Many of us had a place like Arnold's where our friends would go to hang out on weekends. When I was modeling it, I was surprised at how big it actually is. But that makes sense when you think about how many episodes needed room for larger crowds. The entrance is here. There's a counter here with an opening and the kitchen back here. Booths lined this wall and this one, with a couple tables over here by the divider. There was a doorway to a room here that we never got to see. On this wall there was a telephone, a jukebox, and a pinball machine. Next to that is the entrance to the bathrooms, one marked guys and one marked dolls. We often saw the booth from this view, but that doesn't mean it was out in the middle of the room. It was up against a wall, as you can see in these shots. Very similar to when we see a TV on a show that appears to be in the middle of a room, but it's actually meant to represent being up against a wall. But you can't film through a wall. Scenes that took place at Arnold's. Fonzie giving Richie pep talks. A lot of dancing. Fonzie witnessing his perfection in the mirror. And lots of hanging out with friends. Let's stroll around Arnold's now and see views of it that you've never seen before, as if you were one of Richie's friends hanging out there on a Saturday night. In the future, I'll be doing the second version of their TV home, and will include Fonzie's apartment too. If you don't want to miss any of my TV and movie home tours, make sure to subscribe at the button below. And don't forget, you can get a backstage pass to exclusive content and early previews of the tours on my Patreon page. You'll find a link to it in the first comment below. Let me know in the comments which TV or movie home you'd like to see next. But as for today, that's a wrap. See you next time on Behind the Scenes.